Welcome to another episode of All Fired Up. I'm Chuck Parker.
And I'm Bob Farster. And our guest tonight,
Patty
Horton.
Hi.
Patty, thanks for coming back.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
So happy to
and
be
you
here.
brought back a studio audience
I
again.
did.
That's what I want to hear.
And it's been so long ago that she came, she has the same outfit on again.
I spent the night in the studio.
Okay, Patty, wink, wink. So listen,
Yeah.
before we ended the last show, we were discussing, because I was curious,
Yeah.
about, I believe in reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, some things have actually been proven.
Right.
Remember the one I told you about, the kid who said he was in the submarine in World War
Right.
II, and they took him to...
There's a lot of them. There's
Yeah,
people
it
who
was
wrote
crazy,
books
man. He
about
knew
it,
everything.
and there's proof. But, obviously there's a lot of skeptical. But I believe in it. But what I have a hard time kind of grasping is the souls of, like, say, my grandmother.
Yes.
Or whatever. If you said your grandmother and you nailed a lot of stuff about my grandmother, why didn't she cross? Why didn't she come back? Or well, I don't know.
Because sometimes we don't need to come back, and sometimes we make the decision to grow in the spirit world and stay over there.
makes
into
that
where we're-
decision?
The soul does, because we have free will, and that's the gift that God gave to each of us is free will. And so we as human beings are allowed to utilize that free will and make
So
good
do you
and
believe
bad
that
choices.
souls
Yeah,
pick the people they want to be with?
absolutely.
I do too.
Because you pick your parents.
Right. I believe
you pick
that.
your parents, you pick your siblings, you pick your kids. You all pick each other, so you know when you come back and live this lifetime that you're going to have some kind of contact with them, because there's some kind of value and something that you are to learn from
I mean,
them.
I picked my parents. I was born with my parents. They made me.
But the soul picked your parents. Your soul picked your parents.
Yes, they did. You picked your parents before you were born because your mother and your father offered you opportunities to learn something on a soul level so that you could grow this time around. So whatever it is that you came back here to do, your father offered you lessons to learn from, and your mother offered you lessons to learn from so you could grow in the family and actually expand on a soul level. So yes, you most definitely.
See, I never heard of anything like, so this is all new to me.
Oh, okay.
So you're learning something, Bob.
See? And that's the whole thing. We want it to have a value when we talk on a spiritual level, because we want to have a value for all people to understand or learn new things.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, we do. We definitely pick our parents. We pick our lives. We pick the color of our skin. We pick the bodies that we want
I'd like
to be
pick
in.
a new dad, though. I don't like it
And
too
you know
much.
what's so funny? I want to pick a new dad. I don't like my father. So when,
I actually don't.
When you feel that way about your father, what is it that you need to learn about your father? Or what part?
The only thing he gave me good was a good work ethic. That was about, my dad was a dad that came out of the 50s, very harsh and that.
My father, too.
I see him once a year, and then when I see him, I was like, oh, what the hell am I doing here? I gotta get out of here.
Well, whatever it is or wherever you feel uncomfortable in that situation with your father, you need to take a long look at, why do I feel uncomfortable, so that you can find out why it makes you feel that way on the inside. So you can recognize it in your father and see how you're recognizing it in yourself, so that you can forgive it and let it go and say, okay, he is who he is. He helped to mold me into who I am. I understand why he makes me feel that way, and now I'm going to forgive it and let it go.
Well, no.
Yeah, so let it go, Bob.
So let me finish. So my father,
The whole thing, let it go, Bob.
My father, though, got remarried and has a whole different family. So, and I left home at 17, which I'm okay with it because it made me who I am today. So,
But, go back to that time. He got married. What I hear you say, he's got married and he has a whole new family. So what part of that hurts you? And
actually, it doesn't hurt me at all. It doesn't bother me.
I think it does, Bob.
No, actually, I'm telling you the truth. I'm very.
No,
I'm always
Bob, I
been kind
think
of a
you're.
loner.
No, I think it hurts you.
See, like, you guys are trying to put something into me.
No,
That's
I
not
think it
happening.
does.
You guys
I
are ganging
think
up
it
on me,
does.
man.
no, we're not.
No, seriously?
No, I'm
But for
serious.
real.
Well, I'm very serious.
I
I like my well, they're gone, but my grandparents were like my parents, actually.
I have a story to tell you about reincarnation. I did a past life regression and a life in between lives in the 90s. And I did it with a woman named Susan Weishart, and she's really an amazing hypnotherapist and past life regressionist. And so I wanted to know what my life was like before I incarnated into this life, because I wanted to know, why did I step into such a masculine job for career, being a feminine energy, and made it very difficult for me as I moved through my career. So in the last lifetime, when she took me into the past life regression, I saw that I was 1933 is when I died. I was 33 years old. I was a womanizer. I was a mobster. I killed people, and I took advantage of women. And when I walked out of that bar where I was at, that speakeasy, I was gunned down on the streets, and I could see myself laying there dead. And I didn't have any attachment to the human body, but when I went up into the spirit world from that lifetime lived, I had to experience all of those things that I did to other people. And so I came back
In
here.
this life?
In that lifetime. So you have to experience
okay.
all the deeds that you do. And so then your soul goes up there to heal. And so I came back here to experience the other side of the coin.
So now here's something you said that's interesting, because,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying this, I'm sure every guy wants to think he's a warrior, but but in my, I feel like I always, for some reason, I'm not saying I believe totally.
Do you think you're a warrior?
No, I'm saying in a past
could have
life.
been.
But because
He could have been a pirate.
But I'm really
He's a pirate.
Hi, lads. But
Got the bandana.
But what I'm talking about, seriously, I've
Yes.
always been in tune with the outdoors. And I can remember as a kid, but like I always wanted to be on the losing team. Why? Because I'd be the one.
Because you sucked at sports?
No, because I was one of the last survivors, like murder ball. I wanted to be the guy, and I was like one of the last to go to the death. So I would be the last one, like they'd all fall out, and I'd be trying to help the team to win, and I'd always be like one of the last guys. So
Okay.
I've been raised in the country. If you threw me out in the woods somewhere, I will never get lost. I can always.
So
Make it.
you're born on the heart of a navigator.
I collect antiques. I mean, I love everything in the past.
I was a queen.
I always felt like I was born in.
Sure.
I should have been born in the 30s, or I would have been probably a Western dude. Probably would have shot a few people, and I got pissed off at them. But but you know what I'm saying. I just felt like I was always in somewhere, and I've had friends tell me, say this is the way you are. But it's
Yeah.
kind of strange. So think that would be cool to or somebody even hypnotize you to see if they could go in.
You
into your
you
petness.
absolutely can go into the
but
Which
past.
would be
everybody
kind of
can
cool.
have that
experience.
experience.
Does everybody get reincarnated, or not everybody? Just
I believe every soul has the opportunity to be reincarnated, but where they choose to be reincarnated is up to that soul according to what it wants to learn. And there are other dimensions besides this one. This is just a great place for us to learn. I love being here. I love being a student in the earth plane.
would you see scientists just come up a few years ago that they said there are other timelines, now,
Of course there are.
which is very interesting.
Well, and so spiritually, on a spiritual level, I've always known that in my heart. I never had to have science prove it, but some people really like the validation of science to back
Right.
it up. For me, I'm not scientific. For me, I'm very faith-based. I don't need to see it and touch it to understand or know it to be true for myself, because I have the truth and it resonates from within me. So it speaks to me on that level.
See, I'm 50-50. I like a little both. I mean, I find it very interesting, the first two people that you said things that actually they acknowledged, which I thought that was pretty interesting,
Yeah, and it's the spirit world. It's really the spirit world coming in and them being open to receive the information that is being given to them. Because as a medium, I don't only communicate with those who have crossed over, I communicate to the essence of the soul and where that soul finds itself spiritually during the time of the reading. Where are you at today? How are you living your life? Is there something more important for you to know on a soul level than just to hear that my mother loves me? Because the spirit world will always tell me, and they'll always say, please tell the people that their loved ones have crossed over. And yes, there is that connection of love. But they have lived their lives, and it's time for people to understand that they need to live their own. But the reason why those who have crossed over make their presence known is so that people don't get stuck in grief and get stuck in the, I didn't get to say goodbye,
Right.
or are they there? Are they okay? Did they make it? I can't move forward in my life. I'm sad, I'm miserable. And so when that gift of connection is made, it offers the person an opportunity to heal and move forward in their life. And so that's the most beautiful part of when a crossed over loved one appears. But I love the spirit guides and teachers when they speak to the soul and where you're going and the magic that resides within each person, because we're all so unique and we have so much to offer this world.
See, I had a girlfriend that died of breast cancer that I was around for 5 years, but mad mistake, she thought she could do it holistically because one daughter talked her into it. But it's always wondered, God, because I have a card where I can open it up and it has her voice once in a while. I'll listen to it. I kept it, So I was always thinking it's kind of interesting. It's like, wow, it'd be wild if I could talk to her or something. Or she was hanging
Bob.
around.
And
I'm telling you can.
You can. And the cool thing too is that when we're faced with those points, and they're called exit points, and so we get ill and we get sick, and so our soul gets to make the decision, do I stay or do I go? And so I was really sick, and I was 34 years old. I'm 54 now, so it was about 30 years ago. And I got really sick. And I was diagnosed as terminally ill. And I was like, I'm done. And
That's
then
no good.
my husband had a real hard time with it. So then I said, fine. So I made my deal with God, and I said, I promise to do this for you if you help to heal me. And so I used Western medicine and I used Eastern philosophies, where I used my own hands and my ability to heal myself. And in 5 weeks, my lungs were completely clear. I was not on an oxygen machine anymore, and all meds were gone. And
Beautiful.
And so that's the power of us. And so for me, as a soul, I knew I needed to stay because there was more work for me to do. But I also knew I needed to stay because my husband was having a difficult time dealing with the idea that I would die.
See, I do believe the mind is very powerful. We use a very small percentage in our, at all, ever. And this is going to sound maybe crazy to the audience, but I always believe if you could use 100%, you could change matter, molecules. I could turn myself into anything. And I believe if you can find it, you can heal yourself. You have the power.
Yes.
It's just to harness it and learn how to get to it.
Remember what Jesus said, and I don't know if
I know what Jesus says.
Jesus says, what I can do, so can you, and more. And so, heal yourself. He had the ability of a healer. He just showed us how it worked. And he told each of us that we all have the opportunity to use that for ourselves because God gifted it to every human being. And every soul brings that forward. It's just finding the place inside of ourselves to know that we're capable of doing it. Or does our soul just want to bail and say, you know what, this lifetime's just too hard. I'm
I'll
done.
never bail.
We know.
Yeah, I'm here to the end.
We just turn your intestines inside out.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Let's get back to the audience now.
All right, let's do it.
Who wants a reading? All right, here's the thing. I have a number on my hand. Whoever says it first. Someone said 11. I got one hand up.
In the back row. The back row, lady. She
One.
is. Yeah.
Come on up here.
Yep. Yes.
Whoever said one and didn't lie.
You didn't say one? Oh.
You know what? 7's always been my lucky number. Bring her down.
Come on, 7, come on down.
Come on down. Yay.
Monty Hall's going to want us, man.
And I love 7. 7's such a spiritual number.
That's actually my number. 7 is always I use
It's
it.
a spiritual number, and it represents so many things. And when we really vibrate to that number 7, we're open up on a multitude of levels. We're open up on a level of spirituality as we kind of embrace who we are, as we open up to those energetic points within us. But what is your question?
My question today is, I would like to invite the spirit world to tell me how I'm doing and what my future looks like.
You know, the spirit world will give you indications of what your future looks like, but they're also kind of referencing some things that are going on with you around your health, and I feel they're making me feel like we need to organize a few things, and not that anything bad is going to happen to you, but they're making me feel there's some things that you need to change around what's going on with you health-wise, whether it's a change in sugar intake, a change. Do you like to drink a lot of pop?
I have been lately.
And so I want to ask you to stop drinking so much pop, because in essence that pop is really affecting you in a way that doesn't benefit you. So there's that sugar influx. So on a health level, they want you to cut some things that aren't beneficial to you and maybe supplement it with water, or maybe a nice brewed tea that you can put some ice into and some lemon. So they're asking you to move more away from things that aren't benefiting you on a human being level and on a physical level, and move into things that are going to change and shift your energy, because they make me feel like I might go through some highs and some lows with my energy. Is that true?
Sure.
And so they're talking about the highs and the lows, the highs and the lows, and so that all revolves around that sugar. So do you have a sugar issue in your life? Mm-hmm. And so the sugar issue is the biggest thing for you. And so I feel like I've been working with this for a while, and going to the pop is, and they said that this has not been benefiting you. So it's really the main thing that benefits you now here today is understanding that I need to get my sugar in order. Now I'm a big sugar junkie, so I completely get it. And it's just finding other things that you can consume, like instead of maybe the coffee cake, you can eat an orange. or a banana, because the sugars in fruit are completely different than the sugars in food or in pop. So you have refined sugar and you have natural sugar. Go more to the natural sugar. Have you been incorporating honey into your life? Because they're talking about the honey.
No, but I understand
So go
the benefits.
and so really kind of gear towards that honey if you need a little sweet on something, because the honey is more beneficial to you than going for the white sugar or the processed sugar. Make sense? And
Very
so
much
that's kind of where they are with you. And are you having problems with your feet? Because I want to talk about your feet. Are your feet bothering you?
Not particularly, but all over because of the sugar problems.
You know, so I don't know if maybe you might get a little nerve pain or some things might be going on in your toes, or maybe your feet might get a little uncomfortable. It's just the out of balance with the sugar. So if you can get your sugars in check, and they said that it might, sometimes you do a real good job at it, and they said sometimes you don't. And then they make me feel like somebody knows that you're supposed to watch your sugar, so they make me feel like somebody nags you on the side. So you got that nagging person who's been nagging you and pecking at you about consuming that sugar. And so they want you to listen. And so not only are they nagging you from a human level because they love you, but the spirit world always kind of steps forward and kind of nudges and pushes you. And you have your mom in the spirit world?
No.
No, your mom's not. Her mom is in the spirit world? That would be your grandmother.
Yes.
Because I want to connect to mom. So she made this woman that's in the spirit world is connected to mom on mom's side of the family. She presents herself as a mother figure, and she's nudging you as well about watching your intake of sugar. So she steps forward to bring this into your awareness, and she says this is the gift that she has to offer you. And she also connects to the tea. So did your grandmother like a nice cup of tea? Because I want to talk about the tea. Even though I might have liked coffee, I want to talk about the tea. I got the tea bag in there. I can see
That's
the
my
view.
beverage.
That's your
The
beverage?
tea is
Okay.
my beverage,
So
yeah.
she's talking about the tea, and she's showing me the cup of tea. So she's just connecting with you to let you know that yes, I am around, connects to the cup of tea, but she really wants you to watch your sugar. So they're giving you kind of a 6-month window to kind of get that under control or get a good handle on it. And once you get over the hump of 6 months, they said the rest of it's going to be easy breezy.
Okay.
So God bless you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I got a little question for you.
Sure.
You know anything about numbers?
A little bit.
Okay, well, here's what's strange. So my girlfriend that passed away said this was happening in 05 or 06, 07, and it still happens. I can wake up and it's 1:11. I'll look at a clock and it's 11:11. It's always 11:11 or 1:11. It's kind of bizarre.
They talk about the 11:11 is, so they have written, and this is what I believe as well, because 11:11 presents itself a lot to me, the connection of the spirit world trying to make contact with you.
I buy a lottery ticket every time
And
it happens.
so this girlfriend you speak of, did you meet her because of your job or this work that you were doing?
No, I met her at a vineyard.
Okay, but she's connecting to your work. She connects me to your work.
She had nothing whatsoever to do with my work. I actually met her on the 4th of July in 06.
And don't tell me anything else. You're not supposed to feed the medium.
Sorry. Lost control.
That's okay, but she connects to your work for some reason. So either she was very involved or understood things that were going on, but she really wants to connect to your work. So she's connecting me to your work, this one that shows up. And when you see that 11:11, or you're waking up in the middle of the night, they're making me feel, and she makes me feel it's a great way to grab or get your attention.
Well, see, my work now is this in our shows.
And you know what's
is our
funny,
work
and what
now.
else? I want to talk about the whispering. So did she do a lot of whispering, or where's the whispering or the soft talk come in? Because I want to talk on a lower level. I want to talk more on a whisper. So she talks about the whispering. So if you can't think of it in this moment, sit with
She had
it
a
for
soft
few
voice,
minutes.
though. A real low voice.
And I want to talk softly. I want to talk almost on a whispered, on a hush. So when she communicates with you, she comes in on that soft wave, on that soft touch, on that low vocal point. So it might not be as prominent. She also connects to the butterfly. She wants to connect to the butterfly. And then I also want to talk about the tattoo. So did she have tattoos?
No.
And so did she think about getting a tattoo? Because she's connecting me to a tattoo.
Not that I recall.
There's some.
I've thought we used to think about it, but
Did
then
you
I
want
didn't.
to? Were you going to get a butterfly tattue?
No.
Yes.
I was
Oh, yeah.
I was going to have. I've always said about having the Revolutionary War flag, the striking rattler.
With the butterfly.
Don't tread. Don't tread on
your
me.
ankle.
Well, she talked, you know what, just go back.
Butterfly might be nice. I'm older now.
Kind of sit and then see where the butterfly presents itself. See how it manifests itself, because she makes me feel there's a connection to the butterfly with her. And so because she makes me feel you guys weren't together very long, well, she doesn't make me feel like it's a big
5
long
years.
window. And so there's a lot of things that you might not have known about her. Do you still have some of her belongings? Because she's talking about the belongings.
Not that I recall.
You know, so see
Because
where
that was, she died 9 days before Christmas in
just
2011.
Just see
so.
where something presents itself, or where that belonging all of a sudden pops out of nowhere. But she really wants to connect to the butterfly. So when you do start seeing the butterfly, or somebody presents himself with the butterfly, stop for a moment and say, okay, I got it. I got the memo. What is your message for me? And she says she'll come in on a wave of a feeling, because she makes me feel that feelings were are an easier way for her to connect to your energy. So she comes in on a wave, and and it's soft, and there's this beautiful softness about her. So that's what she has to give to you. And so that's why you're like, I'd love to hear her voice, but her voice is so
Well, I can hear it because I have a card that I can open up and hear it. Now, I have a lot of energy. Everybody thinks I was on drugs in the 80s when I...
What's on the card? And what's on
on the card?
Yeah.
You open it up, it says...
No, what's on the front of the card?
God, I'm going to have to look at it again. I can just recall opening it up, and it says,
Well, let's
you
see
may
it.
not have your $1 million.
if it's a butterfly.
Thank you.
You may,
See, if there's
you
a
may not have
butterfly
your
on
$1 million
the-
this year, but this year, you're just going to have to be a simple kind of man.
And just
From that
see,
song.
just go and see if maybe
Oh, no,
there's
I will
some
when I
kind
get
of a
home.
butterfly
Actually,
on
I'll
that
check
card,
it
because
out.
she's connecting to the butterfly, something
yeah, I
that's
can't
tangible,
remember.
something that you have
You know
of
what?
hers. What?
Actually, there's a card.
Yes.
Here we go.
No, actually, I'm just recalling that I'm gonna check it out. That may have butterflies. It's the first card she made me on my birthday on the computer in October 24th of 2006.
There you go.
I know.
Thank
Now I'm
you.
going to look. There's one because I keep them together. So
Because
I'll
she's
just look.
talking about the butterfly, and the
So now
butterfly.
that would be interesting if I do go home and that's
Well,
on
you
there,
have
but
to do that, and then call me when you get
Yeah.
home. Who wants to come down? Come on, right there.
Hey, it was my turn to pick.
Second. No, you, right there.
No, you.
Right there. Right here? Blondie, second row, right there. Black top.
Oh Lord!
I
Oh
remember from when we came here, she said she wanted to talk to you, and she was looking
You know what she
frustrated.
did make me think of? Oh Lord, won't you buy me
A Mercedes-Benz.
color TV? My friends all have Porsches.
I need a man.
no! There's. I know Sherry.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Hi, Patty.
Hi Sherry. How are you?
I'm fine. So, anything from loved ones, guides, angels, wherever you want to go.
You know what's really funny? Like when you stand before me, I almost feel like I've been overwhelmed. I feel that there's I've been overwhelmed, and I almost feel like at times, and I don't know if you are, I almost feel like I'm on the verge of tears, or a verge of wanting to break down, or I'm keeping a lot of stuff bundled up inside of me, because I feel very over emotional with you right now. Have you been over emotional? I haven't talked to you in quite a
My mom
while.
had a stroke. My dad died 3 weeks later. I'm the executor of the will. I'm the power of the attorney.
And so you've been
working.
So you've been.
Kids.
So you've.
Other than that,
There's more than that.
So, but have you been overwhelmed and over emotional lately?
No, not over emotional.
You know, so just watch for that to bubble to the surface, because it's almost as if I can feel that you're on the verge of tears, or on the verge of kind of to have that release. So they're making me feel that the emotions are getting the best of you in a lot of areas of your life. So see where, and that can come in the form of stress, that can come in the form of being overwhelmed, and it can come in the form of being burdened. And so, you know what's funny? Did your father leave a car behind?
Yes. Well, yeah, my mom got it, but now it's in my driveway.
Right, because he's talking about the car. So he's talking about the car. The car is really
Yeah.
important. He wants to connect to the car. And then are you sitting on the car and unsure what to do with it?
I'm thinking
And it's
of-
funny, he's talking
yeah.
about maybe selling it, or there's an idea of selling it or getting rid of it. But did you go through the whole car and look through everything to make sure everything was taken out of it? Or have you been doing that? Because he's talking about some things that you might find inside of the car.
I might buy the car for my daughter.
Okay.
I am also unloading their entire house and moving my daughter in. So
So-
I keep thinking I'm supposed to find something in the house, and I haven't found
But
it.
and he makes you feel like, look inside the car. There's something inside of the car. And then it's funny. Who has the St. Christopher medal, or the medal with the saint on it? Oh, you do? Oh, I didn't know you had
Angels
that.
and stuff. Yeah,
And-
Archangel Michael's always with me.
And so he talks about the medals, or that, you know, that religious medal. But he also talks about St. Christopher, and so St. Christopher, there must be some significance. So maybe you'll come across it and find it something that you might not know about him. But he's talking about the car. He's making me feel that you have a handle on the way that things need to go, but he makes me feel that there's other outside influences that are affecting some of the things that you need to do. So whether it's other
Yeah, banks and
family,
lawyers.
right, wherever that comes in. So he's making me feel that it's become a little frustrating. He makes me feel that he should have kept things more organized and more in order, but he didn't. He said he let the ball drop. He made me feel it was kind of he thought he had more time, or I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll get to it later. I'm not going to get to it now. So he makes me feel it was in the back of his mind, or someone was pushing him to do it, but he just wasn't ready because he just wasn't expecting to just go.
Right.
And so he talks about this, but he's talking about the car. So whatever you're going to do with the car, because he makes me feel there's going to be a transition in the title. There's going to be a change in title. So whatever you're going to do with it, he's making me feel like it's the right idea for you to do. So, okay. So when your dad makes his he just makes me feel that things are very chaotic, and that's kind of like how you're finding the house. There's a lot of chaos, and so he makes me feel that even his brain, or the way that he was functioning, was a little bit on the chaotic side. He just makes me feel that he couldn't get it together. So he says that he's sorry. He knows. I feel like he left you with piles of paper like
They
this.
both did.
And so he's talking about the paper, but I feel like I've only been able to go through so much of the paper, but I still have this much paper that I haven't been able to read. And I'm supposed to tell you time is of the essence. So is there a timeline or something that's coming up around time that's tied to the estate? Because he's talking about time. Almost like I feel like he makes me feel like he feels like you're running out of time.
I have 1 month left to make a decision on some money.
And so, so he's, don't drag your feet, almost like you got to bury yourself, sink yourself in it, and know what you need to do with it, because he says time is of the essence, and if you don't make the decision, your inaction, like his inaction, is going to be to the detriment of you and not to the benefit of you. But he does say that he's grateful that you took on the opportunity to do this for him. He said he's sorry he left you such a mess, but he said he couldn't have left it in more capable hands. So
I could call my sister too.
and you know what's funny? He also says he's very proud of you, and he's very proud of the work you're doing. And so he makes me feel, and do you feel sometimes he comes in behind you to guide you in some way? Because he's making me feel that there's something about the guidance that he's bringing forward. So he sees things with different eyes, and he's trying to give you some wisdom. He says, I'm not her spirit guide, but there are some things I can guide her from this perspective and where I find myself at today. So look for him to make his presence known. He makes me feel when you make the right decision, it's almost going to be like it's like a bell ringing, ding, 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 and I need to pay attention to that dinging bell. And so that's really important. So he wants you to pay attention to the bell. So when you make the right decision, it's almost you're going to hear it subliminally in your ear. You're going to hear it internally, and that's him saying, yes, that's the right decision, because he sees it differently from that end. So time is of the essence. Don't drag your feet. You have to get busy with it. You can't keep pushing it off. He makes me feel like you're pushing it off. I'm pushing it off. I'm pushing it off.
Piles of paper. Like, it's a whole couch.
But he says there's something in the piles of paper that's going to help you to make the decision around one part of the estate, around something that's very important. But some things are going to be lost. Some things you're just not going to be able to get ahead of. So he wants you to stop working so hard, trying to get ahead of something that it's like a runaway train, and you're running behind it, and it's like, hold on, wait for me, and then you want to jump on, and then the train keeps getting further ahead, and you keep seeing it off in the distance, but you keep on running after it. He said some things have to run their course. So his bad management of paperwork, money, and finances is something that he can't change, and he says, and neither can you. And so it's kind of coming to the realization of that, or the difficult part of it. But there's a part of you that wants to hold on to
I'm
it.
almost done.
She's got piles of paper.
You have no-
Almost done. But time is of the essence. You only have a little bit of time, so don't
And
drag
so
your
do we
feet.
on this show.
Oh, sorry.
So Spirit has to take off right now.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's fast,
Thanks for coming.
Patty. Thank you for coming. And for those of you that we did not get to talk to
I'm
tonight,
sorry.
we will do this again.
Yeah,
We will do it again
I think it'd be great.
because I like having you come here. This is fun. You got some good energy. Thank you all for coming today.
And I got to find out if there's butterflies in the car when I get home.
Yeah, that's going to be
And you know there
fantastic.
will be.
Send me a message.
Right.
I will.
Thanks, Patty.
You're welcome. Thank
Yeah,
you for
thanks
having
again
me.
for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
Thanks,
let us
Billy.
having it.
Wow.
What? Quit it.
I like the way that sounded.